So what I want to do is the following. Now, this shirt here, FreeWill, that I have on, okay? If you can see this, obviously it's not about free will. It's about freeing Will Smith. This started with the conversation that we had during dinner, which was a bet. I think there was a $100 bet that was made, if you remember.
You and Joe Rogan.
We made a bet, and the bet was what? Within 12 months, there's going to be a divorce or there's not going to be a divorce.
Right.
Right? You remember this.
You said that there is going to be a divorce.
I bet on the $100 being a divorce.
And Rogan said no?
I said no one's willing to take me on this bet. He says, I'll bet you. Let's bet $100, right?
Yeah.
And so
you and Joe Rogan threw down a lofty $100 bet.
Well, I think he can afford it, and I'm gonna I can afford it as well. But here's the point. The point is, while we were having a conversation, for me, it was more from the standpoint of that video that came out with Jada, and Jada bullying Will, and Will saying social media is my bread and butter. I don't appreciate what you're doing right now. And she says, you can tell now why we have issues in our marriage. I think Jada's a bully. I think Jada Pinkett Smith is a bully, and she's bullying Will. And I think this guy has been sitting behind closed doors. Do I think he's done what he's done and had a lot of fun? 1,000,000%. Do I think he's done some stuff that's broken Jada's heart? 1,000,000%. Do I think there's a possibility that Jada has said and used the following words, that if you do anything, I'm going to tell your darkest secrets to the world?
Of course.
I'm leaning towards yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Do I think there would be a red table conversation throwing Will under the bus? Maybe. I don't know. I think there could happen. Do I think it would be playing the victim card? You don't know how difficult it was being married to Will. I think so. Do I think Will went on Charlemagne the God, what is that show? Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And Charlemagne asked him a question saying, hey, how does it feel knowing Jada will never love you the way she loved Tupac?
Yeah.
And he asked the question of Will. Do I think that bothers him? Yes. Do I think the market seeing what happened with Augusta? Is it Augusta? What's the guy's name? Augusta. Yeah. So do I think that bothers him on how the market sees him? Yes. Do I think Jada maybe has something on him with challenges with maybe men, and he had certain things that he did with men over the years? I think there's something there. But I think the guy almost needs to be given permission to call it quits and move on, and he's afraid to do so.
Yep.
So that's why the hashtag FreeWill, to say, Will, buddy, if you're going through it, man, somebody needs to talk, because I can guarantee you, here's a challenge. Somebody asked, Joe and I were having a conversation about, have you ever talked to a friend about having to get a divorce? Remember how that conversation went? Because I've had those conversations with a handful of friends, but it's only been a handful of friends. And the conversation goes like this. And by the way, 60% of the time when you have that conversation, it backfires on you. Because here's how the conversation goes. I had a friend of mine. I pulled him aside and I'm like, dude, how do I explain this to you? You are an alpha. I've known you for many years. You've always been an alpha, but you've turned into a beta, and I look at your face, you hate it because you've compromised your own values and principles. And it feels like every time I talk to you, you're walking on eggshells. It feels like you have handcuffs and shackles right now, and you don't know what to do next. And I just want to tell you from the outside, I'm not the only person that notices this, okay? You need to make a decision. I've had this types of conversation with men and women. Before I get to this point, I want to push therapy. I want to push as much, go places, go do stuff together. But every once in a while, get to this point, right? Out of the 5 conversations, 3 of them, guess what happened to it?
He told
the individual goes back and tells who?
Great, the wife.
And after they tell the wife, what does the wife do?
You can never talk to Patrick
again. You can never talk to Patrick again, so the phone gets blocked. You're done.
Yeah, right.
It's over, okay? But the other 2 went and processed it, and one of them took the lead in the family, read a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy, and the wife actually responded to him and said, you know what, I've been waiting for this, and they've been happily married till today. The other one went and had the conversation. She was not having it. He left her, okay? I wonder how many people who are friends with Will have the audacity to give that advice, because they know it's going to go back to who?
Right. Her,
to Jada.
Sure.
And if it goes to Jada, what do you think Jada's going to do to that person? Okay?
Of course.
So think, one time a guy and I were having a conversation. I said, listen, a friend of mine, I said, look, why is it that everything I talk to you about, you go tell your wife? It's just my wife. I said, do you think that's how it works? Yeah. I said, let me get this straight. What book tells you that everything you tell me you have to go tell your wife? I said, do you think everything you tell me I go tell my wife? He said, well, it's your wife. Aren't you supposed to do that? I said, no, that's not how life works.
Yeah.
Why? What's your biggest concern? Here's my biggest concern. If me and Tony are homies and we're buddies, we're best friends, he's married, I'm married. He confides in me in something. I go tell my wife. 3 years later, my wife and I get a divorce. Hypothetically, what's her loyalty to Tony? This
Zero.
much.
Yeah.
Did you understand what just happened?
Yeah.
Is this much loyalty that she has to Tony? She doesn't sit there and worry about what Tony's career is going to be,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's my loyalty to him that I just lost Tony. So now Tony doesn't feel comfortable talking to me. Yeah. I'm convinced there's a web
Yeah.
that Will is in, man.
I think she has videos of him getting pounded by dudes.
No.
There
Yeah.
has to be something,
Don't.
dude.
And the
So
name
he's
of the
staying in it for the blackmail?
And the name of the video, Men in Black.
Oh, man. Well played. Well played.
Stupid.
I just,
Stupid
I,
joke.
But funny as
I actually have one real idea that I think needs to happen. Because what I'm getting very sick of is these A-list Hollywood alpha men getting emasculated by women.
Yes.
Right now, the two biggest stories in Hollywood right now are freaking Will Smith and Jada Smith and Johnny
Johnny
Depp
Depp.
and Amber, never heard of her.
Never heard.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think what needs to happen is they need to sit down in a room and have two mirrors and one seat in the middle of the mirrors, okay? And Leonardo freaking DiCaprio needs to say, welcome to the room, gentlemen.
Yeah.
We are in a very elite company right here. We are the biggest A-list stars in the freaking world. And I want you both to look at a fucking mirror.
Yeah.
You're Will Smith.
Yeah.
You're Johnny freaking Depp.
Depp.
Like, just
Stand the
look at
fuck
them and
up.
remember who you
You
guys
are.
are. You could do
Yep.
whatever you want.
Yep.
You own the world. You're worth hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
And you're just getting emasculated by these women taking your money and
Yep.
taking your pride.
Yep.
Follow my playbook here
Yeah.
for a second,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
You don't have to not get married and not have kids,
Yeah.
but be a goddamn pimp.
Yeah, be a
Maybe
fucking
I'm
man.
doing too much stuff with Fresh and Fish and Rolo these days. I don't know. Shout out to those guys. But man up, Will Smith.
Yeah.
Man up,
I agree.
Johnny Depp.
So
man up.
But here's the thing. Let me tell you what if you ever been in a web? Have you ever been in a relationship like that with a woman where you felt like you have you ever? Because have you ever been in a?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're in it,
You don't
how
know this-
oblivious are you?
Yeah, you are.
Like you almost have to be out of it to notice it.
Yep.
Who do you know that hates Will Smith prior to the slap on the face and what happened with it?
Zero.
You tell me who you've ever met that's ever hated Will Smith.
Nobody.
Never.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Beloved.
I mean, beloved is an understatement,
American
right?
legend.
Yeah.
American legend
Yeah.
for a guy to come from his background and build a story that he's built. People forget Fresh
Yeah.
Prince of Bel-Air, all these movies he's done, all these major films he's done, and he's going through this. So here's what we're doing, folks. If you want to support this is what we're doing. If you want to wear this shirt to start the conversation and post it, you can buy this shirt. I'm being serious with you. You can buy this shirt at freewillshirt.com. Am I saying it correctly? Can you put the website so people can see it? You can buy freewillshirt.com. We're selling it for $29.99. 100% of the profits is going to National Institute of Mental Health.
I love
100%
Wow.
Beautiful.
of the profits. You can buy this and free will, pick your size, $30, go all the way to the bottom, 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 press no thanks, click on that link, National Institute of Mental Health. Whatever we sell, we're sending all the money there because I do believe Will is having certain mental challenges right
Yeah.
now. And I'm telling you, I'm convinced his therapist, his friends, everybody's afraid of Jada. And somebody needs to have this video be shared with them for him to say, you know what?
Yep.
You know, I don't like why people are talking like this. Or he's going to say, maybe this makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. And by the way,
Yeah.
I'd love to see it work out. I just think it's way past the level of it
Right.
working out. It's time for him to move
I
on.
ju-
We don't.
love-
Joe doesn't think it's gonna work out.
He
Joe
just-
thinks he's gonna live unhappily with Jada for
He
at
can't do
least
that. That
longer
guy's-
than a year.
He
I
cannot
know.
do that, though. He's such a special guy.
I know, but it's already been a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I-
Guys like that, sometimes they get in too deep. He's
When was
you,
the bet
you
made?
said it best. He's surrounded by yes
Yeah.
men. What was the date of that? Of that bet? We're gonna know because
This
it was
was
the
early
night of
April. This was early April.
UFC Jacksonville.
Whenever we got
Early
a
April.
date of
Because,
UFC.
and Adam, you could see his soul, like in that video
He's
where she's
73.
recording him. You could
Yeah.
see his soul is just
April
not
9th.
there.
I love that this
April 9th.
whole thing started with a dinner, group dinner with yourself.
First of all,
Joe
what time did we
Rogan,
finish?
Tony.
4 o'clock?
What's the name of that restaurant? Do you remember?
Calfort Steakhouse.
Wow.
The owner sent me.
Yes.
He's a big fan of the content.
Calford's in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Unbelievable restaurant.
Unbelievable. By the
Steak?
way, what was the waiter's name? I wish we could give him a shout out.
man.
That guy is a mensch. He was
Yeah.
like, the guy spoke like John
mensch.
Bernthal.
really?
Good. I kept telling him, you sound like John Bernthal. He had the right voice.
What's the name of the place again?
Cowford, Cowford.
Can you put, I'd like to give these guys a
And
shout
I'm
out.
starving right now, and I want to eat
No.
steak.
By the way,
starving.
this was in Jacksonville. I would not have expected
Yep.
this quality restaurant.
Really?
Bone marrow, okay, foie gras, oyster. It was the most high quality we had. Anyways, it was
It's
insane.
amazing.
Yeah.
Highly recommended, and the owner's even a classier guy
Yeah, for it,
on what
yeah.
they're doing. Fantastic place. I'd love to go there tonight to eat there,
I
but
would
it's a
love
long
to.
drive.
Yep.
Anyways, gang, listen. If you agree with what we just talked about in regards to will, just start the discussion. Talk about it wherever you want to talk about it. And if you sport the shirt, other people are also going to talk about it. 100% is going to go to National Mental Health Institute is where the profits are going to go. But last but not least, before we wrap up, Tony, you're performing tonight. Where are you performing tonight?
Miami Improv, 2 shows and 2 shows tomorrow. And yeah, I'm on a big tour going to a bunch of places. TonyHinchcliffe.com for tickets.
If you enjoyed this short clip, click over here to watch another short clip. And if you want to watch the entire episode, the entire podcast, click here.